cost of foodstuff.
I think beginning this week, it will get to the market, but that is not the solution. The solution is really in making sure that we produce our food locally, because indeed we have the capacity to.
Tunasema mambo ya unga lazima irudi chini. Hatuwezi kanja na hii nchi yetu. Tunatoa tax.
Azimio leaders had listed among their demands to President Ruto's government the high cost of living as one of the things they wanted fixed, so as to call off the weekly anti-government protests. And today, the president said that he will not be left behind in the quest to make the country a food-secure nation.
I know we have a big debate in the country about the cost of living and how we need to reduce the cost of food, but it boils down to what we do as farmers. So as a farmer also, I came down here to look at what I can do to make a contribution to food production in our country so that we can reduce the cost of living.
With fertilizers being sold at half price this year compared to the previous years, the head of state challenged farmers to double their efforts.
I ask all of us who are farmers to go out of their way, even as we pray for rains, that we also do what we must do to be able to produce.
The high cost of living has been made worse by a biting cash crunch that the National Treasury CS Professor Njuguna describes as a financial fix. The cash crunch has seen MPs and civil servants' salaries delayed. The situation is worse in the counties where salaries have been delayed by at least 3 months. The national government says it is prioritizing national debt obligations. Kusa, NTV.
Choose Exodus for better trading conditions. But
the provisions of the Constitution as it is today, the provisions of the law as it is today, we allow other countries to do what they want to do. We cannot dictate to Germans or Americans or French or Ugandans on what they want to do. That's theirs to choose. For us as a country, we have taken a position, and that position is informed by our culture, our tradition, our constitution, and our laws.
But those laws do date back to the colonial era in some cases. And, you know, critics outside would say, well, you know, LGBT rights are an intrinsic part of human rights, which are internationally recognized. Do you recognize that? Do you see that the rights of LGBT people are intrinsically a question of human rights, which are universal, or do you feel that it is simply something that it is for each country to decide?
The Kenyan Constitution is a 2010 constitution. In fact, it was celebrated as the most progressive constitution, providing especially the chapter on human rights and the rights of people and the extent of the protection of rights of people that is enshrined in the Constitution. And in that context, in the formulation of that Constitution, the people of Kenya spoke expressly as to what kind of rights and to what extent everybody can enjoy their rights without infringing on the rights of others. In Kenya, the only understanding of relationships around marriage is around men marrying women. That's the context of a relationship that exists in Kenya and exists in our constitution and is provided for in our constitution. And it can happen elsewhere. We have no issue with people celebrating their issues in America.
To developers. Your Excellency, that program